But for now, my next guy, very exciting, super exciting. This is probably my favorite guy out of all 6 of the guys we're going to mention. He's one of my favorite baseball players in the entire league right now. That is Jazz Chisholm, second baseman for the Miami Marlins. Now, Jazz was acquired at the 2019 trade deadline for starting pitcher Zach Gallen. At the time, Zach Gallen had really blossomed with the Marlins as a very young starting pitcher. I believe he was 23 when he was drafted, and it was a little bit of a questionable trade. But Jazz looks to be like the foreseeable, it looks to be like the shortstop for the foreseeable future for the Marlins. So overall, it really wasn't a bad trade, even for both sides. Gallen struggled just a little bit last year, had a phenomenal 2020, but still very good starting pitcher. But we're not talking about him. Our main guy right now is Jazz. Now, Jazz is from Nassau in the Bahamas. He brings this type of flair and excitement that you don't get out of just any guy in the league. He's super fun to watch. Every time I turn on the TV and I see him playing, I got to sit down and watch. I just have to. Even pregame, you see it on his Instagram what he's wearing before the game. His outfits are they're phenomenal. They just scream like he's talking. He's strictly business. He's always ready to go. He's always playing the part, and he's got some crazy hair too. He's got the blue braids. He really plays the part that you got to have being the shortstop in South Beach. And last year, he's heading into his age 24 season this year, and he wasn't really talked about in the National League Rookie of the Year discussion last year, despite having a very impressive rookie season at the age of 23. He slugged 18 home runs, 53 RBIs in 2021. He can also fly around the bases, as he was just 2 home runs short of reaching that 2020 mark. He swiped 23 bases in 2021. His slash line included a 248 batting average, a 303 on base percentage, with a 425 slugging percentage, and a very respectable 728 OPS. And now he's primarily a second baseman, as I said when I introduced him, but expect him to be the shortstop. Now, they have Miggy Rojas there. Miguel Rojas is a veteran shortstop. He's been around for a little bit now. I do expect the Marlins to give Jazz a little more time over there. I don't want to say they're pushing Rojas out, because he could be a really solid option defensively and at the bottom of the lineup for the Marlins. But we want to see what Jazz is going to do at shortstop. You went out and got this guy. He was a top prospect for the Diamondbacks. You want him to be your shortstop for years to come. So let's see. I want to see him get some more innings over there. And I really do think he's going to excel at his more natural position. And his life is going to be a lot easier now, as it was a little more challenging batting at the top of the lineup for the Marlins, as they didn't really have the depth in that lineup that you'd like, especially for a guy that swipes bags consistently. Now, Miami general manager Kim Ng, she went out and she made some pretty big acquisitions for that lineup this offseason, pre-lockout, of course. She went out and acquired utility man Joey Wendell from the Tampa Bay Rays. She also went out and spent $56 million for 4 years on former Brewers outfielder Avisail Garcia. And they also went out and got premier backstop, very good defender. He can also give you a little life off the bat. Jacob Stallings, they got him from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the Marlins have also been linked to Nick Castellanos, free agent outfielder, previously played for the Cincinnati Reds. Now, if the Marlins go out and get a Castellanos, that really, really makes Jazz's life a lot easier. You have a lot more run scorers, you could say, backing Jazz up for a guy that gets on base and he's able to create runs with his speed. And then you get guys like Garcia, Lewin Diaz, Joey Wendell, even knocking him in from second or third. And Jazz is going to get on and he's going to steal second base. He gets on base. He knows that his job is to get to scoring position, and having guys that drive in runs consistently makes him look a lot better, definitely. So another aspect of Jazz's game that I really admire is his defense. He's very slick in the field. He makes second base look easy, and that's not even his natural position. So keep an eye out for Jazz Chisholm as he gets the shortstop. But before we go to you, Andrew, I have one negative for Jazz in terms of not being able to break out, and that's the strikeouts. He strikes out a ton, and he doesn't walk enough to back up how many times he struck out. especially last year. Jazz struck out 145 times last year, and he only walked 34 times. That's a sizable gap. Now, it shouldn't be too much of a glaring issue as for young players, like for pitchers who have control issues, young hitters have discipline issues. That's a discipline issue. That comes with time. That comes with getting reps. That comes with getting plate appearances and at-bats. It's something I can definitely see him improving upon, but it may not be immediate. That like I said, it takes some time to do that. So I would expect him to definitely not strike out as much, but if he can resolve the amount of times that he strikes out and really cuts it down, let's say to maybe 100 times, that means he's putting the ball in play 45 more times, or he's walking more. He's doing something to create havoc for the infield while he's busting down the line to get to first base, because he's not an easy out. So Jazz Chisholm, I definitely expect him to take a step forward next year. Andrew, who do you have next?
Before I go on to my next pick, I want to say I love your pick, William. Jazz, obviously one of the most electric players in the league. He broke out a little bit, started last year over a 900 OPS, I believe, in April, then kind of slowed down after he got hurt. Like you mentioned with the discipline stuff, that is a skill that can absolutely be improved upon. Raw hitting skills is probably the most important things you want. The most important thing that is developed throughout your whole life, your whole baseball career. If you don't have the raw hitting skills, you're not going to succeed. If you don't have discipline, that can obviously be worked on. So Jazz is definitely a guy I could see working on that. And, as you mentioned, the great protection he's going to get from the lineup, possibly if they had Nick Castellanos, that would be great.
That'd be phenomenal.
So, yeah, I love that pick. I do think that Jazz is going to break out next year and probably be maybe top 20 for MVP, I'd say. I think that's
bold, but I like it. I like where your head's at, Andrew.
bold, but I believe it.